The quantum sensors aboard the Terran Deep Space Monitoring Station, Watchpoint Theta, picked up the first signs of the Kraxan vessels on a quiet Tuesday morning. Dr. Sarah Chen watched the readings with practiced calm, though her heart raced at their implications. The signature was unmistakable. A flotilla of ships using advanced fold space drives had just entered the outer reaches of the solar system. Director Walsh, she called over the quantum-encrypted channel. "We have visitors." In the depths of Luna Base Prime, Director Marcus Walsh received the alert with grim satisfaction. Humanity had been waiting for this moment for decades, ever since their first covered observations of the Kraxan Empire's expansion through the galaxy. Earth's Unified Defense Council had prepared for the inevitable encounter. The Kraxans were methodical in their conquests. They would send scout ships first, analyzing the civilization's technological level through careful observation. Their arrogance was legendary. Any species that hadn't achieved their level of visible technological advancement was considered ripe for conquest. What they didn't know was that humanity had deliberately hidden their true capabilities for precisely this reason. "Begin Protocol Omega," Walsh commanded, his voice carrying across every hidden military installation in the solar system. "Maintain our technological camouflage. Let them see exactly what they expect to see." Across Earth's cities, holographic projections subtly altered the appearance of their most advanced architecture. Quantum computers masked the true energy signatures of their power plants. In orbit, advanced satellites adjusted their appearances to match 20th century technology. The deception was complete. Earth appeared to be a civilization barely reaching for the stars. The Kraxan scout ships entered the inner solar system 3 days later. Their sleek, crystalline vessels reflected the sun's light as they performed what they thought were undetected passes by Earth's major population centers. Their sensors recorded everything, or at least everything humanity wanted them to see. In the crystalline command chamber of the lead scout ship, Fleet Observer Zextal reviewed the data with growing excitement. Another primitive species, he communicated to his subordinates through their neural network. They still use chemical rockets. Their cities are inefficient. Their power generation is based on nuclear fission. The High Command will be pleased. What Zextal couldn't see were the quantum-entangled defense networks hidden beneath the surface of every major celestial body in the solar system. The true Earth fleet, composed of ships that could bend both light and gravity, remained hidden in subspace pockets throughout the asteroid belt. The automated manufacturing facilities that could produce thousands of autonomous combat drones in hours stayed dormant in their camouflaged bunkers on Mars and Venus. Director Walsh stood in the primary command center of Luna Base Prime, watching the Kraxan scouts through sensors that the aliens couldn't even conceive of. Next to him, Admiral Helena Rodriguez, commander of Earth's hidden fleet, studied their movement patterns. "They're following their standard reconnaissance protocol," she noted, "just like they did with the Centaurian civilization before conquering them. They'll report back to their empire, claiming we're an easy target. Then they'll return with a conquest fleet." Walsh nodded. "And we'll be ready. Our agents in their territory confirm they've never faced a species that could truly challenge them. Their tactics haven't evolved in centuries because they've never needed to adapt." "That's about to change," Rodriguez replied, a fierce gleam in her eyes. "How long do you think we have?" "Based on their previous patterns, 3 months. They'll want to strike before they think we can advance any further technologically." Walsh turned to the quantum communications array. "Alert all commands. Operation Looking Glass is now active. We have 90 days to perfect our deception." As the Kraxan scouts departed the solar system, carrying what they thought was decisive intelligence about Earth's capabilities, humanity's true preparations began. In hidden shipyards throughout the system, advanced vessels were brought to full combat readiness. Quantum AI systems ran millions of combat simulations, perfecting defensive strategies against known Kraxan tactics. The trap was set. When the Kraxan Empire returned with their conquest fleet, expecting to find an easy victory over a primitive civilization, They would instead face the full might of humanity's hidden technological prowess. The coming battle would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy and teach the Craxans a harsh lesson about underestimating their opponents. As the last Craxan scout ship vanished into fold space, Dr. Chen allowed herself a small smile. "They took the bait," she reported to Luna Base. "Every piece of false data we wanted them to see, they recorded. They don't suspect a thing." "Good," Walsh replied. "Now the real work begins. The next time they enter our solar system, they'll learn why humanity has survived every challenge we've ever faced. We didn't reach for the stars by being weak. We did it by being clever." In the coming months, Earth would prepare for the greatest deception in human history. The Craxans thought they were the hunters, but they were about to become the prey. The countdown to confrontation had begun. The Craxan invasion fleet emerged from fold space exactly where Earth's defense planners had predicted, just beyond Neptune's orbit. Their massive ships, crystalline structures that housed enough firepower to level continents, moved with the confidence of apex predators who had never known defeat. In the quantum-shielded command center beneath Olympus Mons, Admiral Rodriguez watched the tactical display with calculated patience. The Craxan fleet was even larger than intelligence had suggested. Over 30 capital ships, accompanied by hundreds of smaller vessels. They had clearly decided to make an example of Earth. "They're transmitting," Dr. Chen announced from her station at the communications array, broadcasting on all frequencies, standard Imperial format. The holographic image of High Commander Ixel materialized in the center of the command room. The Craxan leader's crystalline exoskeleton sparkled with embedded rank markers as he delivered what he clearly thought would be a crushing pronouncement. "People of Earth," Ixel's translated voice resonated through the chamber. "Your civilization has been deemed insufficient for independent existence. The Craxan Empire requires your resources and labor. Submit now, and you will be permitted to live as productive members of our society. Resist, and you will be reduced to atoms." Director Walsh stepped forward, activating the carefully calibrated response system. The hologram they transmitted back showed him in an outdated military uniform, in a command center deliberately designed to look primitive by Craxan standards. "This is Earth Command," Walsh replied, letting a calculated tremor of fear enter his voice. We request time to confer with our world's leaders. Please, we are a peaceful people." Ixel's crystalline features arranged themselves in what passed for a smile among his species. "You have one planetary rotation to submit your surrender. Use this time wisely." The transmission cut off. "Oscar-worthy performance, sir," Rodriguez commented with a grim smile. "They're proceeding exactly as anticipated. All hidden defensive systems are at full readiness. The quantum grid is online but dormant. They still haven't detected any of our true capabilities." Throughout the solar system, humanity's real defensive network hummed with power. Quantum-linked satellites maintained their perfect camouflage while tracking every movement of the Craxan fleet. In the asteroid belt, thousands of autonomous combat drones waited in subspace pockets, their advanced AI systems already calculating optimal attack vectors. The Craxan fleet advanced with textbook precision, spreading out to establish a blockade formation around Earth. Their sensors detected exactly what humanity wanted them to see: outdated defense satellites, primitive nuclear weapons, and communications traffic suggesting panic among Earth's leadership. "They're deploying in standard conquest formation," Lieutenant James Puddle reported from his tactical station. "Primary weapon systems charging, but held in reserve. They're not even bothering with full shields. They think our weapons can't harm them." Walsh nodded, checking the countdown timer. "Maintain emissions control. Let them think their psychological warfare is working. How long until they're fully committed to their attack positions?" "At current speed, 4 hours until they cross the Mars orbital line," Rodriguez answered. "That will put them perfectly within range of all our primary defense systems. The quantum grid will have full coverage." In their crystalline ships, The Kraxan commanders watched Earth's apparent chaos with growing satisfaction. Their sensors showed human leaders frantically moving to underground bunkers, military forces scrambling antiquated jet fighters, and civilian populations beginning to panic. Everything proceeded according to their countless previous conquests. What they couldn't see was the truth. Those panicking civilians were highly sophisticated holograms. The underground bunkers were actually advanced command and control centers, and Earth's real military forces remained completely hidden, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. High Commander, one of Ixal's subordinates, reported, "We're detecting increased radiation from their nuclear facilities. They appear to be preparing their primitive atomic weapons." Ixal's crystalline form vibrated with amusement. "Let them. Such weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Their desperation only proves their inferiority." In Luna Base Prime, Walsh received the final confirmation he had been waiting for. The Kraxan fleet had fully committed to their attack formation, their ships perfectly positioned for Earth's carefully planned response. "All commands," Walsh broadcast through the quantum-encrypted network. "Operation Looking Glass is now in final phase. Prepare to show our friends from the stars exactly how primitive humanity can be." The trap was about to be sprung. Humanity's greatest deception was reaching its climax, and the Kraxan Empire was about to learn that appearances could be deceiving. The real question wasn't whether Earth could defend itself. It was how much of their advanced technology they would need to reveal to send the invaders running back to their empire with tales of warning. As the Kraxan fleet crossed the Mars orbital line, Director Walsh gave a nod to Admiral Rodriguez. "Time to rewrite the galaxy's balance of power. Execute Phase 1. The first indication that something was wrong came when the Kraxan's long-range sensors suddenly went dark. Not through any detected attack or malfunction. They simply stopped working. In the crystalline command chamber of his flagship, High Commander Ixal felt the first stirring of unease. "Report," he demanded, his crystalline form vibrating with tension. "Unknown interference pattern, High Commander," his science officer responded. "Our quantum detection arrays are experiencing impossible readings." Throughout the Kraxan fleet, sophisticated sensor systems began reporting contradictory data. Where moments before they had detected only primitive human technology, now they registered enormous energy signatures appearing from nowhere. The very fabric of space around them seemed to ripple and twist. In the Olympus Mons Command Center, Admiral Rodriguez gave the order, "Activate the quantum grid." Across the solar system, hidden quantum nodes embedded in planets, moons, and asteroids synchronized into a single vast network. The technology was beyond anything the Kraxans had ever encountered. A web of artificial quantum fields that could manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself. The first wave of human counterattacks didn't come from conventional weapons. Instead, carefully calibrated quantum fields began to disrupt the crystalline structure of the Kraxan ships themselves. Their supposedly impervious hulls started resonating at frequencies their designers had never anticipated. "High Commander," the panic in his officer's voice made Ixal's crystalline spines bristle. "Hull integrity compromising across the fleet. The humans, they're using technology that shouldn't exist." Deep beneath Europa's icy surface, Dr. Chen monitored the quantum grid's effects. "Phase 1 performing beyond expectations," she reported. "Their crystalline technology is especially vulnerable to our quantum manipulation fields. Their ship's molecular structures are becoming unstable." The Kraxan fleet attempted to regroup, but their coordinated movements were hampered by the quantum interference. Ships that tried to engage their fold space drives found themselves trapped in localized space-time distortions. Their weapons, designed to overwhelm conventional shields, proved nearly useless against humanity's quantum phase barriers. "Deploy the Phantoms," Rodriguez commanded, allowing herself a small smile. From hidden bays across the solar system, Earth's true warships emerged. Unlike the bulky, crystalline designs of the Kraxan vessels, human ships were elegant works of scientific art. Their quantum-engineered hulls could shift between normal space and subspace at will, making them virtually impossible to target. Impossible. Ixal watched in horror as his tactical displays showed human vessels appearing and disappearing at will, striking with weapons that ignored their strongest shields. These primitives, they deceived us. The Phantom-class vessels demonstrated exactly why humanity had chosen to hide their true technological level. Each ship carried an array of weapons that could manipulate gravity, quantum states, and even time itself. They didn't need to destroy the Kraxan ships. They simply had to make it impossible for them to function. Status report, Walsh demanded, watching the tactical displays in Luna Base Prime. Kraxan fleet combat effectiveness reduced by 60%. Lieutenant Puddle reported. Their command and control systems are in chaos. We're detecting multiple attempted emergency fold space jumps, all prevented by the quantum grid. Rodriguez studied the battle data with professional satisfaction. They're still trying to use conventional tactics against unconventional warfare. Their entire military doctrine is based on overwhelming force against inferior opponents. They don't know how to adapt. In his flagship's command chamber, High Commander Ixal faced a situation none of his predecessors had ever encountered. His mighty fleet was being systematically disabled by an enemy that seemed to defy the laws of physics themselves. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were doing it with technology that should have been centuries beyond their capability. All ships, emergency protocols. He commanded, redirect all power to structural integrity fields. Prepare for. His orders were cut short as a human phantom ship phased into existence directly in front of his flagship. The vessel was beautiful in its deadly efficiency, its hull seeming to absorb light itself. A transmission cut through all their communication channels. This is Admiral Helena Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Force. Her voice carried an edge of steel. Your fleet is disabled. Your technology has been countered. You have one opportunity to surrender and withdraw from our solar system. Otherwise, we will be forced to demonstrate our full military capabilities. The threat hung in space along with the unspoken question. If this was humanity holding back, what were they truly capable of? In the crystalline command chamber, High Commander Ixal faced the first real defeat in his species' recent history. The primitive humans had not only outmaneuvered them, they had done it with technology that redefined what was possible. As the quantum grid continued to dismantle his fleet's capabilities piece by piece, Ixal realized that the galaxy's balance of power had just shifted dramatically. The only question was whether his pride would force humanity to reveal even more of their hidden strength. High Commander Ixal's response came not in words, but in action. Despite their compromised systems, the remaining Kraxan ships attempted to form a defensive sphere, their weapons charging for what they hoped would be an overwhelming counterattack. They're not going to surrender, Rodriguez observed from her command station. Pride won't let them. Then we show them what humanity can really do, Walsh replied. Execute Phase 3. Deep within Mercury's core, a quantum forge that had been hidden from the galaxy for decades activated. The massive facility began producing what the Kraxan Empire would later call Starfire, artificially created quantum singularities that could be controlled with perfect precision. Deploying Nexus Protocol, Dr. Chen announced, her fingers dancing across quantum-encrypted controls. Targeting solutions uploaded to all Phantom units. The human fleet's true power wasn't in their weapons, but in their understanding of the universe's fundamental laws. Each Phantom ship now carried a controlled quantum singularity, allowing them to manipulate space, time, and gravity itself. The Kraxans fired first, their crystal-focused energy weapons flashing out at the human vessels. But the Phantoms simply shifted partially out of normal space, letting the attacks pass harmlessly through them. The counter-strike that followed would be remembered in galactic history for centuries to come. All units, execute Nexus Protocol, Rodriguez commanded. Show them why humanity chose to hide our strength. The quantum singularities activated in perfect synchronization. Space itself seemed to fold around the Kraxan fleet. Their shields, designed to resist conventional energy weapons, proved useless against weapons that could alter the fabric of reality. "What sorcery is this?" Ixal demanded as he watched his mighty ships become trapped in localized time dilation fields. Some vessels seemed to freeze in place, while others experienced time at fractional speeds. Lieutenant Patil monitored the effects from his tactical station. Quantum field stable. 80% of enemy fleet now contained in temporal bubbles. Their weapons and engines are effectively neutralized. The Phantom ships moved with surgical precision, using their controlled singularities to systematically disable the Kraxan fleet's capabilities. They didn't need to destroy their opponents. They simply had to demonstrate that resistance was futile. In his flagship's command chamber, Ixal watched in horror as his fleet was systematically dismantled by technology that shouldn't have existed. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were doing it with a level of sophistication that made the Kraxan Empire's mighty warships look primitive in comparison. Their deception was complete, he realized aloud. All this time, they let us believe they were barely reaching for the stars, when they had already mastered them. From the Olympus Mons command center, Rodriguez opened a channel to the Kraxan flagship. "Your fleet is now completely contained. We could destroy your ships with ease, but that's not our way. We're offering you one final chance to withdraw." To emphasize her point, several Phantom ships demonstrated their capabilities by creating a cascading series of controlled quantum events. Space rippled and twisted around the Kraxan vessels, showing exactly what could happen if humanity chose to be less merciful. Dr. Chen's voice carried a note of warning as she reported from her station. "We're detecting energy buildups in their secondary systems. They might be preparing for a suicide attack." "Let me speak to them." Walsh stepped forward. "High Commander Ixal, observe your situation carefully. Your weapons are useless. Your ships are trapped. The technology you're witnessing isn't even our most advanced. It's simply what we've chosen to reveal." He paused, letting that sink in. "We hid our true capabilities because we hoped to avoid exactly this kind of conflict. The galaxy you thought you knew, where stronger civilizations could prey on the weak. That era ends today." In the crystalline command chamber, Ixal faced the most difficult decision of his career. His pride demanded they fight to the last ship, but his intelligence told him they faced a civilization that had completely outmaneuvered them from the start. "The quantum singularities are beginning to affect their crystalline technology at the molecular level," Chen reported. "If they don't power down soon, their ships will begin to destabilize." Rodriguez watched the tactical displays with growing tension. Their choice is simple: survive and adapt, or let their pride destroy them. Either way, the galaxy will know that humanity is not to be underestimated. The next few moments would determine not just the fate of the Kraxan fleet, but the future balance of power in the galaxy. Humanity had revealed enough of their technology to demonstrate their superiority, but not so much that their full capabilities were exposed. It was a calculated risk, one that would either lead to peace or to a demonstration of why humanity had chosen to hide their true strength for so long. The silence stretched across space as High Commander Ixal contemplated humanity's demonstration of power. His fleet, the pride of the Kraxan Empire, hung helpless in quantum-manipulated spacetime. The decision he made now would reshape galactic politics forever. "This is High Commander Ixal of the Kraxan Empire." His transmission finally broke the tension. "We accept your terms. The fleet will stand down." Throughout the solar system, quantum sensors monitored the Kraxan ships as they powered down their weapons. The crystalline vessels, once proud and threatening, now seemed delicate and vulnerable against the backdrop of space. "A wise decision," Director Walsh responded. "Admiral Rodriguez will coordinate your fleet's withdrawal. Remember what you've witnessed here today." In the Olympus Mons command center, Dr. Chen monitored the quantum grid's readings. Their systems are stabilizing. The molecular degradation has stopped. They're fully complying with the withdrawal protocols. "Begin releasing them from the temporal fields," Rodriguez ordered. "Maintain Phantom squadrons in escort position. Let's make sure our friends find their way home safely." As the quantum effects dissipated, the Kraxan fleet began to reorganize itself. Their formation was different now, defensive rather than aggressive, their ships moving with the caution of predators who had suddenly discovered they weren't at the top of the food chain. "What troubles you, Director?" Rodriguez asked, noticing Walsh's contemplative expression. "This is just the beginning," he replied. "Once word of this spreads through the galaxy, everything changes. Other empires, other species, they'll all want to know how we hid our true capabilities for so long. Some will seek alliances, others might see us as a threat." Lieutenant Patel's voice interrupted their discussion. "Sir, we're detecting quantum communication bursts from the Kraxan fleet. They're transmitting to their home systems." "Let them," Walsh decided. "The message we wanted to send isn't just about our technology. It's about our restraint. We could have destroyed them, but we chose not to." In his flagship's command chamber, Ixel watched as his fleet prepared for their fold space jump home. His crystalline form vibrated with a complex mixture of emotions: shame at their defeat, fear of the humans' capabilities, but also a growing respect for a species that had completely outmaneuvered the mighty Kraxan Empire. "Send a final transmission to Earth Command," he ordered. Tell them the Kraxan Empire acknowledges their strength. We will remember this day." As the alien fleet prepared to depart, humanity's hidden installations throughout the solar system began powering down to their standby states. The quantum grid remained active but dormant, ready to reactivate at a moment's notice. The phantom ships resumed their patrols, once again invisible to conventional detection. "They'll be back," Rodriguez noted, watching the Kraxan ships vanish into fold space, "not to fight, but to negotiate. They'll want to know how we achieved this level of technology. And we'll welcome their diplomats," Walsh replied. "But we'll keep our most advanced capabilities hidden. Today we showed them enough to earn their respect and their fear. Sometimes the best weapon is the one you don't have to use." Dr. Chen's quantum sensors confirmed the Kraxan fleet's departure from the solar system. All ships have successfully entered fold space. No signs of lingering hostile intent. In the days that followed, humanity began the process of adjusting to their new role in galactic politics. The carefully maintained facade of a developing civilization had been partially lifted, revealing just enough of their true capabilities to establish themselves as a power to be respected. "Send word to all our hidden installations," Walsh ordered. "Operation Looking Glass is complete, but our work is just beginning. The galaxy now knows we exist, but they still don't know everything we can do." The message would spread quickly through the stars. Tales of how a supposedly primitive species had outmaneuvered and defeated one of the galaxy's most powerful empires. But the greatest victory wasn't in the battle itself. It was in how humanity had achieved it. They had won not through brute force, but through careful planning, advanced technology, and the wisdom to know when to show mercy. As the last quantum echoes of the Kraxan fleet faded from their sensors, Earth's defenders began preparing for a new era. They had demonstrated that humanity was ready to take its place among the stars, not as conquerors or victims, but as a civilization that had learned to balance power with wisdom. "The galaxy's changing," Rodriguez observed, standing at the viewport of Luna Base Prime, watching Earth rise over the lunar horizon. "And we helped change it." "We did more than that," Walsh replied. "We showed them that true strength isn't about having the most powerful weapons. It's about knowing when and how to use them. That's humanity's real gift to the galaxy." In the vast expanse of space, the story of Earth's victory would be told and retold, growing with each telling. But the truth was even more impressive than the legends. Humanity had achieved victory not through destruction, but through preparation, deception, and the courage to show mercy to a defeated foe. The age of human isolation was over, and a new chapter in galactic history had begun.